First of all, because if someone's inspiring you, you see in them what you already have within yourself. And so if someone's inspiring you and you are recognizing that ability, that quality within them, that means that you have that within yourself as well. You just have to spark it within yourself in order to allow that to come to the surface. You can every single day set the intention to spark it up and show up as your absolute highest, best version of yourself.
Hi, my name is Pernilla, and this is my Challenge Your Norm podcast. I'm absolutely obsessed with anything related to personal development. And well, to grow, we got to challenge our norm. And so on this podcast, we chat about life and how we can challenge our normal way of living it to make it greater than we could have ever imagined. Just one little belief, habit, bold move, and perspective at a time.
Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to another episode here on my Challenge Your Norm podcast, where today I want to talk with you about how you can show up consistently as your highest version of yourself, or the person that you want to become. And the reason that I'm really excited about this topic right now in this moment is because I recently got back from a trip. I was on a very long flight from Amsterdam to Los Angeles, and a flight attendant caught my attention because he was the most vibrant, happy, welcoming flight attendant I have ever gotten to experience or see. From the moment that I step onto the plane, he had the biggest smile on his face, welcoming everybody on board. And he caught my attention just because of that. But then as I walk towards my row, he's welcoming the guy behind me. And then the guy behind me says, "Oh yeah, I'm hoping I get through this because I have a middle seat." The flight attendant then says, "You know what? We have the most incredibly spacious, good middle seats." And like the guy behind me, you could tell he did not really know how to react to that, right? Because it's like he was walking into this plane being all upset about his middle seat, but then the flight attendant completely turns around that negative perspective. And what this reminded me of is how this specific flight attendant individual, I'm sure at one point decided in his life he wants to be the most welcoming, happy flight attendant of all time. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it's just so ingrained in his personality that that's the type of person he is. But I know with myself, whenever I have shown up as my best self, it's because I have made it an intention that I want it to be whatever it is that I wanted to be on that day within that specific time or event in my life. And we can all choose to do that. We can all choose who it is that we want to show up as. And if you right now are just so caught up in however it is that you typically show up as, then something I think is very powerful is asking yourself, well, who is it that inspires me? Who do I look at? And then think, oh my goodness, that person is just always so happy. That person is just always so stylish. That person is just always so motivating. Who is it that inspires you? First of all, because if someone's inspiring you, you see in them what you already have within yourself. And so if someone's inspiring you and you are recognizing that ability, that quality within them, that means that you have that within yourself as well. And so if you see that within them, you just have to spark it within yourself in order to allow that to come more to the surface. Maybe you are already letting it come to the surface, but this podcast is just here to remind you that you can every single day set the intention to spark it up even more, allow it to come to the surface all day long. If you choose to set that intention in the beginning of the day, or before you go into that meeting, or before you go into that event, or before you create that piece of content, make that work task come to life, whatever it is, you can set the intention to choose who it is that you want to show up as. So the first step is getting really clear on who is it that you want to show up as. Maybe you have been wanting to get in shape for a very, very long time, but you haven't set the intention of you becoming a healthy person or becoming an athlete even. You've just been wanting to make healthier eating choices and getting to the gym more often. Get very clear on who is it that you want to be. How do you want to show up in this world? For me, I am the type of person, this is an affirmation I have made for myself, and I highly recommend that you make affirmations for yourself that can help you become and continuously act as this person that you want to be in this world and show up as in this world. I am the type of person that shows up to the gym regardless of how I feel. So it does not matter if I'm unmotivated. I'm going to show up. And maybe while I'm there, it's just about focusing on that one rep at a time, one set at a time, because I can't handle anything else on that day. I cannot handle focusing on my entire workout that day because I'm not motivated. But I am the type of person that makes it to the gym regardless of how I feel. And you know what? Every time I go or leave, I feel 1,000 times better. And usually it's on the days where I don't feel like it that I need it the most. I also want to be the type of person that is always encouraging and motivating and supporting other people. And I wrote down an example from my life where I feel like I failed because I wanted to share that with you, because I want to share how these failures, we can choose to put ourselves down, get really hard and evil towards ourselves, or we can see it as lessons that are going to help us get better next time. And so I want to be the type of person that is always so supportive, that is always showing up with the most high energy when I'm helping someone else, and just always share light. And the other day I had an off day. I did not show up as the person that I wanted to be. For some reason, since coming back, the jet lag this time has hit me hard. So I've not been sleeping very well. On that specific day when I had chosen to help this person with some things, I had a lot on my to-do list that day, and I did not complete all of those things before I then had to be at this other person's house and help this person out. What happened was I told myself, just forget about it. But when I showed up to this other person's house, I don't think the person felt it right away because I really tried to just be my most supportive and happy self. But a few times I would feel a little impatient, or I would just not bring the type of really supportive, encouraging energy that I would have liked to. And after reflecting on this whole situation, I got really bummed out because I didn't show up as the person that I wanted to be, as this supportive human that I always try to do the best to my ability to be. And in that moment, I could really choose to be hard on myself and get angry about that fact, or I could see it as a learning lesson that next time, if this happens, that I have a million things on my mind, on my to-do list that I didn't get done, that I wish I had done, and now I'm here helping this other person, I can take a deep breather, remind myself of what happened last time, because I allowed myself to continuously let this, let's call it stress and tiredness because I hadn't slept so well. I can, next time that this happens, where I'm in a similar situation, just reconnect with myself and remind myself that these little stressors that I may be stressing over, I don't want those to allow that to affect my energy, how I'm showing up as a friend or as a person helping this other person in this very moment. I want to always show up as an encouraging, supportive, loving, energizing human, regardless of what may be going on inside of me. I can put that on the shelf for right now. I can deal with that when I come back home. But for right now, I want to show up fully present, fully just being there to the best of my ability. That is who I want to show up as. And so the fact that I didn't show up 1000% my best self on that day, which of course we will have off days. And that's what I meant with like, I could have allowed this instance let me down, be hard on myself, or I can accept that I had an off day. And now I know what I would like for myself to do so that I next time can show up as my best self. And if you right now have had a month, let's say, or a few months, maybe years of being just not showing up as the person that you want to show up as, you have a choice right now to continuously be hard on yourself for not showing up in the way that you wanted to, or you can choose to see it as a learning lesson, get very clear on who is it that you from now on want to show up as. Ask yourself, what kind of thoughts does that person think? What kind of actions does this person act upon every day? Who do they show up as? And something that is very interesting that I'm pretty sure there's been studies on this. I've read it in a book, and I was recently reminded in this podcast that I listened to, is that instead of saying, I am the type of person that blah, 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 you can say, for me, for example, Pernilla is the type of person that blah, blah, blah. And there's some sort of shift that happens within the brain when you look at yourself from the outside, when you say your name is the type of person that blah, 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 blah. Maybe if you use it, it could be powerful for you. If you say your name and then is the type of person that blah, 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 that does not procrastinate, that makes sure to do the challenging task first, that constantly shows up with a positive, supportive energy, that always takes the challenging route because they know that that is the only way for them to become the person that they deep down want to be. Whatever it is for you, maybe saying that to yourself could be really helpful. Also, just because when we show up as our highest self, as the person that we deep down want to be, miracles come our way. We share so much better things with the world when we show up as our highest self. And we all know that when we share good things with the world, good things come back to us. So it's just one good cycle. And if we become a better family member, a better friend, if you start saying to yourself, I think about this sometimes when it comes to fitness, for example, when I show up at the gym consistently, yeah, I'm doing it for myself, of course, but I'm also doing it for the people that I can inspire, because who knows, if you start showing up for yourself in that way, making those challenging moves in your life, who knows who you're going to be inspiring as you do that? Who knows if your coworker watches you get in badass shape and decides for themselves that they want to do the same thing? Or, I mean, if you have children and you make certain really healthy shifts within your life, you're going to impact the rest of their life because they're going to model whatever they see their parents do, right? And so however it is that you start showing up as your highest version as, you're going to impact and inspire so many people on that journey. And you won't even know necessarily, but just know that you will. And the more we show up as our highest self, the more that highest self will expand. We will realize, oh, if I'm capable and worthy of this thing, and you then get to that level in life, you're going to be able to see and reach for the next level. And that's how we continuously evolve, right? That's why this podcast is called Challenge Your Norm. It's because when we challenge our norm, we continue to expand, we continue to create a better life for ourselves and the people around us. And I just think that is so awesome. And you know what else I think is very awesome that I just got reminded of, that I had told myself I had to remind myself to share on the podcast? That is that I don't know if you followed me on YouTube, but if you have, I did a 30-day challenge where I lost body fat percentage while increasing my muscle mass, and my weight didn't really change. And I developed a program that I'm very excited about, where I share the entire workout that I did, as well as the nutrition and self-development tool. So if you want a challenge, I hope you want to check it out. And this program is more for the advanced lifter, but I also have a ton for the more beginner or just average human that wants to get in badass shape. So just wanted to share that with you. And also wanted to share with you, I'm so grateful that you're listening to this podcast. And I would be so excited if you haven't yet subscribed and written a review, because I would really love for this podcast to be shared with more people. And you have no idea how much it helps me if you are willing to do that, or share it with a friend on social media or something like that. That just helps me a lot. I'm so grateful that you're here. I hope you go out there today and show up as your absolute highest, best version of yourself. And remember that in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm.